All right, hello. I'm here today for my speech with my brothers, Denny and Connor, and my topic is guitar and music. So to start off, to give you guys, the little beginner lessons, you guys know any of like the parts of the guitar, right?
I know that the strings and
Yes.
the chords.
So right, that basically what it is all you go to play down each one of these markers here, and each one of these markers increases the pitch of a note by one semitone. So what that means is like basically in music over time everyone kind of collectively agreed that we were going to use 12 notes, and that's what these are. So those are the 12 notes, right? And you can play them in many different positions on the neck. So going up one fret, that's one note, going down one fret, that's one note. And basically how you write songs on the guitar is usually you'll start out with a chord, which is basically 3 or 4 or 5 individual notes all played at the same time like this. This is a C chord. So it's the note C, the notes E, G, and then they repeat. C major chord. So what, you guys know the differences between major and minor? Have you heard of that before?
Not really, no.
Not really? So basically what it is you build chords from intervals, right? So if you take one note, like C, and then you go up the major scale, which is just kind of like, over time people just decided like that sounded good. Like there's no rules, but that's kind of like, the most used scale, right? So that's C major, right? So if you go to the third in that scale, and then you go to the fifth, and you play all those notes at the same time, that's a major scale. That's a major chord built from the major scale. And then a minor chord is basically the third of the minor scale. So instead of, it's, and then it's C minor. The notes change, it's the same root note. That's what it's called parallel minor. So there's a lot of intervals that you can use. Our cat's interrupting us right now. Alright, get him off. He can't play the guitar.
No.
Alright. So, we can talk about techniques, right? So, one of the main techniques, one of the easiest techniques to get down in guitar is like strumming, which is like where you play a chord with multiple notes and you just like, you play them all, right? Strumming. Or the differences between that and then like picking is where you play like successions of singular notes. Like, you see what I mean? Like, I'm not playing multiple notes at the same time. I'm like rattling them off. Alright, so we can talk about popular songs we're going to want to talk about next. So the most popular chord progressions, have you guys ever heard the idea of a chord progression before?
No.
So remember the intervals that I talked to you about? Like in the major scale, you go to every interval and you can build a chord from that root using the rest of the notes in the scale. So like, I messed up, but so there's 7 notes in that scale and you can build a chord from each one of those notes, right? But the most common ones to use are the first one, the 4th one, and the 5th one in the scale. So basically, it would be C, which is the 1, to the F major, which is the 4, to G major, which is the 5, and then it would usually go back to the 1. That's just like very basic stuff. I don't know if Like you played piano for a little bit. If you ever had saw the Roman numerals in chord progressions, that's what that is. It's the intervals in the scale. You take the root and you build the chord off of it, and you can do a lot with that. You can do things. You can build chords from notes that aren't even in the scale. Like there's no rules to any of it. This is just kind of the guidelines, if you will, of trying to write a song. Did you guys learn a lot today?
Yes.
Okay.
I think so.
I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, you got to. Alright, what's the